Shalom, Kahalayim, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem, Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops, great millstone who rule well over the flock of Israel. Shalom and salutation to you, Akim out here that's pushing the words with truth and sincerity. I would rather this video is edifying, and it's dealing with the coming famine. All right, we're coming into a time where the elites are going to manipulate a famine. All right, a famine can be caused in various ways, right? A drought, lack of rain, so to speak, bad harvest. The Most High just sending plagues of locusts to eat up all the grain and wheat during that time of harvest. But in these days, it can be easily manipulated. I studied a few of the worst situations in recent history of famine, and what popped up was 1958 to 1965 China, in which bad governing with Mao Zedong, I believe that was a president of the CCP at that time. He had basically was bad, poor government, and which ended up into 30 million passing away by way of famine, reportedly. So a famine can be manipulated, and in these times we're in, you just have to be considerate that the Most High is going to deal with his elect regardless of the famine that he's going to bring down to this earth. We're supposed to believe on him. He's shown us that in the wilderness before, and giving us manna and water to drink during 40 years of wilderness, right? In the middle of what's known as Sinai Desert today. So the Most High is able and highly capable of helping us out through this coming famine. So we can go through the famine and speak of it without worrying and fretting. But it's prophecy, so we have to go through it. This is Job 5:19. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. So the evil we talking about is perils, plagues, and prophecies that are to come in these last days, proving that the Lord is near and nigh unto us. Verse 20 says, in famine he shall redeem thee from the death, and in war from the power of the sword. And obviously famine, or famina in the Latin, means lack of bread, and in the Strongs it's 7458 Ra'ab, which means famine, hunger, hunger of individuals, famished, dearth. All right, great dearth. So many times Israel has dealt with the famine, and many times the Lord has been there to redeem us through the famine. So he'll redeem us through this next famine, because a famine causes death one way or another. The lack of bread, scriptures tell you in Lamentations, your bones or your flesh pines away, slowly eating itself, right? The stomach acids begin to, seep out in your weak system. All right, as days goes on, you haven't had any food. Brothers always do health videos on what happens when you eat healthy. Well, when you don't sustain enough food and nourishment throughout your body, one by one, the organs begin to shut down. So that faculty of walking to get food shuts down. That faculty of knowing where to search for food shuts down. All right, your brain shuts down, so you can't even think straight. You might start hallucinating and seeing things. And obviously, eventually you just get skinny enough where you're too frail to even stand upon your feet. So the Most High is capable and able of saving us through a famine. All right. The book of 2nd Ezra, there's a lot of woe, there's a lot of death, there's a lot of tribulation happening in this chapter. It's very prophetic. Verse 17, woe is he who will deliver me in those days, because it's that bad. You need the Father to deliver you in those days. Right now you can walk to the store, McDonald's, CVS is open. Some of them is 24 hours. You can get your food quick on demand. You can have somebody bring your food to you with Uber Eats, Lyft Eats, or whatnot. Well, Grubhub, but that's going to be non-existent in the near future. And the scriptures prophesy of it, and it also tells you that the prudent foresee the evil. If you're amongst those that seeking value out of life, you're not going to gain the riches of the kingdom of heaven and the wisdom and knowledge concerning prophecy in these end times that you should stay away from or be mentally prepared for. You're just going to be lollygagging through life, which is setting yourself up for a terrible, right? The beginnings of sorrows and great mournings, the beginnings of famine and great death. Great death is coming. There's no other way to paint that picture in a Disney, Disney ain't gonna make that movie. If you're waiting around DreamWorks to Pixar to give you a fluffy little cozy movie about the 1958 famine in China that slaughtered, wiped out 30 million because of a lack of good governance, then, you're gonna be waiting for a long time. Well, you're not actually. You're gonna be waiting until the Lord brings famine upon this earth, which is very soon. The beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand. So, beginning of sorrows. It's emphasis on the beginning here, right? Because it's not just gonna end when you want it to. The beginning of it means, oh boy, here we go. It's gonna start. It's gonna last. Later on, it's not gonna be. You're gonna be able to run over here, run to this country, run to that country. No, it's gonna be perpetuated for a period of time. This is the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? So even Ezra was considering the times far ahead in which the Lord had given vision. Or prophet Angel Uriel was breaking down to him about how much dearth and death is going to be in times. And he was worried about it from that point, from thousands of years ago. It says, whole famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. And scourge is a beating, right? Which beatings in the biblical sense are for correction, right? What needs to be corrected is the evil, all the wickedness needs to be blotted out. The reason why this is all happening is not because, the people in government is too damn fraudulent or too greedy. It's because the Most High has seen enough. All right, he's seen enough evil, in which now it's time for him to manifest his son, so that he can restore and balance and equity and righteousness back into this world, and leadership of that. All right, through the Yahushua and the kingdom of heaven being established on earth. Behold, famine and tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. All right, to amend something means to basically to fix it in a long way. Let's get the word amendment here. Amend, the act of change, improve. Okay, so the Most High wants to improve. It says, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be mindful of the scourges. So you have some very hard-headed individuals here. Once the Most High sends the things, they're still not going to tune up or tighten up, so to speak. They're still going to be in their scoff mentality. All right, and doing evil, they're not going to take it as serious as the Most High requires you to. All right, famine is a serious situation. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon the earth that they shall think themselves to be in a good case. So there's going to be certain things that happen that will promote this bad judgment or blindness amongst the people. They'll be able to turn and say, well, everything's cheap right now. What are you talking about? Everything's cheap. Well, you don't understand how the Most High can orchestrate famines in various ways. Again, as an example, the 1958 to 64 famine of China, fast food restaurants existed at that time. Refrigeration existed at that time. Population growth boom. The baby boomers were around that time. There was no reason for a famine to hit, but it still hit because the Most High, has a phrase in which applies to these end times, meaning the beginning of sorrows and great death and famines. It says they shall get to be in good case, meaning they'll see things so cheap that in their mind everything's going to be okay, but it's not. That's delusion. It says, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword and great confusion. So the confusion comes from thinking that you're in a good case when you're not. And that's why we have these prophecies here to remind us that the Most High has sentenced these end times to be a devious and an evil time, a bad time to live in, where many people will be slaughtered and killed. This is the book of 2nd Ezra again, 15, and now we're at 27. It says, for now all the plagues upon the whole earth, and for now all the plagues come upon the whole earth, and ye shall remain in them. But ye shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. All right, and so as we can see, the time in which those that sin and those that remain in their sins and haven't converted back to be healed or are not a part of the elect, all right, will not be delivered from these plagues that are coming upon this earth. And they'll be judged in them. caught up in them and destroyed in them. Make sure I want it out of here. All right, let's see what we got here. So this is 2nd Ezra 6. Let's see what I want. Bear with me. Okay, 6:22 says, and suddenly shall its sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. And there you have it, time in which makes complete sense. A famine must mean a lack of bread in order for it to be one. And in order for people to die of famine, there has to be no food left. So the places that used to be sown are now unsown, meaning the storehouses are now empty. And there's no more food now. All right. And so these are all the things and the judgments of the Heavenly Father in these end times. Let's see here. So let's go to Job, back to Job 5:20. It says, in famines he shall redeem thee from the death, and in war from the power of the sword. Calamities and famines and scourges sent as atonement that the Most High is going to orchestrate in these last days. There will be ways in which the Lord allows an escape for us to happen, meaning he's going to feed us, he's going to enrich us, he's going to protect us, he's going to keep us from all of these things. It says, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue. Again, the Most High uses correction, uses scourges. All right. It says, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. All right. So you're going to be comforted by this word, and comforted by whatever the Lord has established to deliver you from these perils, right? In the ancient world, or in the scriptures, he used certain men or angels to bring men food, all right? And he used, miracles to do these things. So great miracles are going to have to happen in these last days. That destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. That's a lot that the Lord is going to cause for to happen, to be laughing, to be in a state in which you can laugh at destruction. That means you're being kept. That means you're being protected. All right, and that's not a lot that everybody can claim to have. Only the ones who the Lord gave mercy to will be able to. Psalms 33:18. Behold, the eye of the Lord is upon them that fear him, upon them that hope his mercy, to deliver their soul from death and to keep them alive in famine. In famine, that's how you kept alive, because you know it's going to come. You can't run from it, so you got to go through it. The Most High got to keep you alive. You got to turn back to him while it's time, while the doors of mercy still open. Our soul waited for the Lord, so it's not that we're waiting for the famine to come, then going to switch around and try to, behave. Then we're going to wait for the Lord. We're going to call upon the Lord long before the time of famine. Like right now, it says he is our shield. It says, for our heart shall rejoice in him, because we have trusted his holy name. Let thy mercy in that name, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shah, keep it close, keep it near to you. Praise that name and pray to that name for your blessings to come, that you be kept in these end times. It says, let thy mercy, O Lord, be upon us, according as we hope in thee. Why? Because we know great people shall come and befall man upon in these last days, causing great confusion and great death. You don't want to get caught up into that. Matthew 6:31. Therefore, take thought in what we shall drink, or what shall we drink, or what shall we eat, or wherewithal shall we be clothed. For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. NLT says these things dominate the thoughts of unbelief. Right? So your mindset is that you have a higher power, and your higher power is the reason why all of this has come. Remember, scourges for atonement. If you see correction for what it is, see the Messiah's authority and his eternal reign for what it is, he sends these things purposely to afflict and to change the mood, so to speak, and the ways of people. And the ways of people right now are wicked. So you can honestly see why He's going to send waves and waves of scourges for amendment. It says, for your heavenly Father knows you have need of all these things. So he knows you better than your situation. There's certain things you might overlook. You go to a grocery store and then you come home and you realize you missed the eggs, you missed the milk. All right, side of vinegar. Well, the Most High don't miss. You see, he got all of it covered. So you're not supposed to worry or fret. That's how grand he is. That's how higher above his thoughts are. Then it says, but seek ye the kingdom of Yahweh, which is this world that we're in, meaning we're in a world within a world. Israel, the elect, the governing body right now are the prophets, are the apostles, are the men on these street corners, are the believers, are the church, the ones that make up the household, the body of Yahushua. These are the people that are seeking actively the kingdom of heaven, right, through this word. It says, in his righteousness and all these things shall be added unto you. Therefore take no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the is the evil thereof. Meaning, stop stressing, stop worrying. Every day got his own problems. Stop trying to live it super. Be prepared for it by calling upon the names of Yahweh and believing that he's going to protect you in that and walking the way he wants you to walk and fulfilling his will upon earth. All right. Meanwhile, casting yours off. As Psalms 37:3 says, trust in the Lord and do good, so shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. So you want to be fed, you want to be taken care of. Trust the Lord. Regard his prophets, regard his men, regard his covenant that he made with us, regard his promises, regard his name. Keep these things in mind as you go about today, understanding that these scourges about to hit and confusion is about to be caused. So Lord willing, this video is edifying, and until next time,